Hi, welcome back. Today, actually, have my sister with me and my brother-in-law, who, after my husband and my daughter, the support system, it's them. Really, Roxanne. So that's my sister Roxanne and my brother-in-law Behram.
Hi, hi.
Hello.
Glad to be here, really. Really, Gulshan. I think you do such wonderful work. It's really, a privilege for us to be called over here in Dubai. We happen to be in Dubai for the SFS 25th anniversary, Silver Jubilee anniversary, as also Zahir's 65th birthday. So if you're calling us here for this podcast, I think definitely it's a privilege. And we are very happy to be here for sure. Thank you.
Ditto.
I, Roxanne, I have to just begin with you. So you are my older sister by 18 months.
Person who's known you the longest on this planet.
And when you found out this is what, Zara is going to be disabled, you were, I think, on the same path as me because you were going through the same grieving process. We were both in denial. You said, no, it's not going to be it's not going to be so hard, right? Can you relive those moments?
So I remember it's really even hard to think back and remember those days, but it was so traumatic to see a tiny little innocent baby having those seizures and that too for such long hours. It was, and none of us had ever seen something like this or heard of anything. We didn't know who to approach, which doctors to go to, and all of us were like absolutely, we just didn't know how to deal with this. And I remember at the same time when Gulshan was pregnant, so was I. Both our daughters are the same age. They're now both, touchwood, 27 years old. But, so my daughter, younger daughter, Elisha, and Zara, just few months apart. She was born in Jan, Zara was born in May. And to see her go through and, for on the one hand, I was so happy becoming a mother for the second time. And then on the other hand, to see my sister going through all this trauma with her daughter, I mean, it was really, even now it brings tears to my eyes. But it was very upsetting to
And
see that.
even when we went to see the doctors, you came for the appointment. Even though Elisha was a baby, you would leave her and you would come with me to the appointments. And the doctors refused to look at me and talk. They were not looking at Zahir, they were not looking at me, they would only talk to you. They said, because look at you, you're just a deck. We can't explain anything to you. And we didn't have phones to record or anything. And when they were saying the word regress all the time, and you would say, no, don't believe them, then she's not going to regress.
We never thought that the doctor would be right. We always believed in miracles. We are such positive people that there's just no way we could think of, that there's absolutely no treatment for Zara. We all thought something will come up. There will be something, some treatment somewhere, some doctor somewhere who will be able to do something for her. But I guess all of us were in denial, and Dr. Udhani was the pediatrician who said
Neurologist, yeah.
Pediatric neurologist.
He was the one who was the first person to tell Gulshan that after the age of 3, Zara will regress, and we all were in denial. We all thought that we'll prove him wrong and she's going to be fine, but slowly we did see that happening. There were a few words she used to say. She used to love playing with her bat and ball. And she loved this song, Shala Lala. And we all used to, sing that song. And there was such joy in her eyes. That the joy in Zara's eyes that we had seen, we all thought she will pull through somehow and, she will make it. and she will lead a full, healthy, normal life. But after the age of 3, very slowly we did see that
So when you
the
see her
regression
now,
happen.
what do you see her?
So now, I mean, Zara, honestly, she is like the guru for all of us in our family. She, without speaking a word, has shown us such a beautiful path of becoming more compassionate, of becoming kinder, of just, being there for people, loving people. And I think without her speaking a word, she's just taught us all so much. And we
And
all
you're saying that about
enriched our families. She's really enriched our families.
You're saying that about Zara, but before Zara, I mean, we are related, Behram, and before Zara came into our life, your brother, I mean, his name was given as Kersi, but we've always called him Huttu. And he, for me, was my first experience to a person with a disability. He has Down syndrome. We didn't know, there was no word as Down syndrome. Huttu is 57.
57 now, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And we are 3 years apart. And he was my next cousin. He just came into our lives. And it was, again, non-verbal, silently, just teaching us so much. And when we used to visit and we would spend time with Huttu, we loved it. So when I moved to Bombay, I used to always look in the crowd for a Huttu. I didn't know Down syndrome or the name was Mongol in those days. And I used to say, oh my God, I found a Huttu. So I would always gravitate towards them. And I love being with people with this, especially with Down syndrome. So how was it for you having a sibling?
Yeah. See, I'll tell you what. Between Huttu, my younger brother Kersi, and me, there's a 7-year difference. I remember the time clearly when he was born. He's the youngest. We are 4 brothers and sisters, 2 brothers and 2 sisters. My mother was a gynecologist. She's no more, of course. She knew immediately that this child, there's something wrong with him, And she definitely, after a point, realized, that he's Down syndrome. At that time, as you rightly said, it was called Mongol, Mongol was still a charitable word, People at that time was pagal hai, that kind of thing, So it was difficult, and it was definitely different. And I know the kind of challenges which my parents in those days, although my mother was a doctor, my father was also a successful businessman, they were well established in society, but they had their challenges, and the challenges in those days, there was not so much of an expert help or care or any kind of, support system, which we have now, awareness also, And in those days, it was only, we had a fairly large house, in my hometown. It was just one maid servant, one servant was provided. He was in a room, his meals and everything was provided. But beyond that, nothing more. But having said that, they did their best. And also, I must say, for any parent, any set of parents who have this kind of child, it definitely changes their life. Now, it changes the life for the better or for the worse, it's up to them. But it changes them, for sure. Everything revolves around that child, everything, the entire focus to a very, very large extent, it revolves around that child. They always feel, that, okay, we are there, we can take care of them. But what happens once we are not there,
Yeah.
That is the driving sort of, the concern which is there. And that really made them, and we could see it. We were kids ourselves at that time, we didn't realize it. But that was one of the primary drivers, in their lives. So having said that, I mean, it was different, it was nice, and we also accepted Huttu.
Were you treated differently?
Not really. I mean, Huttu
Did you
was-
feel you got less attention? And
No, not that way. No,
Not that way.
No, not that way. I mean, nothing like that. We were in boarding schools and also anyway, that doesn't matter. But Huttu was special. No question of that, And my parents, as I said, did a lot. We also did a lot in our own way. But awareness was certainly an issue at that time. I remember as the years went by, when he became almost 10 or something, a teacher from a deaf mute school, which was there, a government school, who basically didn't know anything. He was called, Huttu was not a deaf mute. He was a Down syndrome, which, and a very severe Down syndrome, He had his own issues. There are gradations, of Down syndrome. He was severely, a Down syndrome who had very severe symptoms. So deaf mute could not teach him, a deaf mute teacher could not teach him much. But that was all that was there, at that time. Now, of course, things are different. You are doing so much, so I hope things are different now. So.
And when your parents passed away, did they talk to you before? They did.
They did.
Will you be there for? Did they ask you?
Yeah, they did. I mean, that was, as I said, they passed away rather suddenly and relatively young. My father was just 70 years when he passed. And within a year, my mother was 68 at that time. She suffered from cancer and she also passed away within a year. But before that, of course, the questions were definitely said, that you all will be there, So we had to
Did you feel that it was a burden, or they should have made the provisions while they were alive?
So they did make provisions. My father made a trust also.
Not the financial, but where to keep him. And would you have preferred that they had in their lifetime? Because this is for a lot of parents.
No, it is a very, very serious and a very sort of legitimate question. They didn't make provisions in terms of, because we belong to a place which is, a relatively small town in North India in UP called Gorakhpur. They were there. We had a large house and everything. They did not think, that, he could be moved out of town, out of Gorakhpur. We decided to shift, we decided to come to Bombay after the death, much after that, And at that time, again, when I shifted him, I remember this was early 2004 or something. I bought a place for him in Bombay. I kept him there with a servant, with a caretaker. I used to visit also. We were very close. The house was very close also. So we used to visit him all the time. Send him to a special needs school, which was a Jai Vakil school, which is there. One of the more older and very famous schools over there. And then after a point, I remember during that time, only somewhere around 2005 or something, we were having a conversation. Zara, of course, was born at that time. And we developed this idea of, having a support system. It started with that. And we called it Ahura Support, And then that took shape of a trust and, all that kind of thing. You were the driving force behind that, the inspiration, if I may call it. And we started it, we didn't know where it will lead at that time. And I remember clearly, I think it was 2007 that we said, now we must, add some more trustees. We had made a trust and all that. And let's do something because it's just stagnant. Nothing is happening. And we did a fundraising event, I remember, in Sophia. And we had a dance kind of performance, through one of... You were there. And I remember during that night, this person who did it, Hormuz was his name, he did it free of cost, except for material cost and all that. And we thought we might kind of break even or make some 2-3 lakhs or something. But I remember during that one night of fundraising, so to speak, it was even like a very formal fundraising. We made 32 lakh rupees, and we collected 32 lakhs, And that was the time we realized, that this can be big. We better get serious. We better act more responsibly. And we took a place. Now that place is in a hospital, in the campus of a hospital in Bombay. And it's grown big. Now we have a residential center also. We have almost about 16 odd sort of our beneficiaries who are there with us all the time. And it's an even division of 8 male beneficiaries and 8 female beneficiaries. So they are not children. Exactly. As you rightly said, they're adults. They're very old also, some of them. And this again started off with these parents feeling, that what happens to these children after we pass away. So it started off with that. It's grown big. We have a fairly large corpus now. Donations keep coming in. It's very lucky. We are lucky that we are getting it now. Now we have started another occupational therapy center in a place in Tardeo.
Yeah.
So that is also going to start, and that is cosmopolitan.
So this Ahura Support, the first meeting happened because someone called Zara in Gujarati. They asked me, how's your daughter? The Ochi. Ochi means less.
Yeah, sorry.
And I said, excuse me. And Zara is there with me. She was in the wheelchair sitting. So I said, don't you know how to address? They said, oh, sorry, we don't know. But what do we call her? I said, by her name, Zara.
Exactly.
That's what you need to call her. And they said, oh, so sorry, we don't know all these terms and things. So then we had a first meeting, and I'd called a couple of people with disabilities. Rishi was there, if you remember, and he did this dance performance. And I thought 25, 30 people will show up. No one's going to come. Who wants to know how to address people with disabilities? But they were like, the hall was full. So people were just standing. And it was full. And then they said, thank you so much for doing this. We had no awareness. And then Hutokshi Dudwala, who's a very close friend of mine, I said, do this, Hutokshi, take over. You can do it. You can. And I mean, she's done a
wonderful job.
Brilliant job. So
She's the person
grateful.
who's hands-on,
Exactly.
Because as you know now, we live in Pune, but there are other trustees, and Hutokshi is one of the main drivers.
I know, but she's hands-on on a daily basis.
I agree.
And we're so grateful to, and touch wood, she has no family member or even in an extended family that she's doing it for that person or anything.
Correct.
She just does it because,
Yeah, she feels.
So we are grateful to have people like her in our lives.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And
No, we have other trustees, but what you rightly said, I mean, for Zara, you said, as in Gujarati, oh, cheech hai. Same thing used to happen to my brother, Kya are pagal hai, nothing more than that, And pagal hai means, for most families, it is lock him away in a room or her in a room. It's easier for a boy, for a girl, it becomes even that much more, difficult, as they age and all that, and as they become adults. So, but when you started this, and anyone who starts this, people like this and parents like this literally come out of the woodwork. There are so many of them. There really are so many of them.
Yeah, I just believe that parents have to. And should stand up.
Stand up, and people should realize, that the caregiver and majority, not majority, maximum of the cases is the parent, That parent needs definitely some kind of support. They can't do it alone.
You know, this SFS support group also, when we started, it is embarrassing going out with a child on the spectrum and then he has a meltdown which he has no control over.
Correct.
It's a sensory overload. It's where he can't regulate himself. He doesn't know what to do.
Absolutely. And they don't do it.
Everybody is just staring.
Exactly.
But if you're in a large group and the meltdown happens, even with 3 of them, you say, okay, it's a meltdown, it will stop.
And there are other like-minded people, there are similar people all around you.
So I keep telling them, the more you go out in groups. If you don't want to do it, because there's so much of staring. And we know the stares.
Yeah.
You know that, oh, this is this, I'm feeling so sorry for you, stare. Oh, you poor thing, how do you cope with it? Your life sucks. We know all those stares,
But I honestly think this is something that should be taught in schools instead of math and science and all. Like take geometry, for example. It has helped me zero in my life. I mean, I have never used a theorem in my life. Instead of teaching that, why can't we teach children to be more compassionate, kinder, gentler, stop the ragging, stop the bullying?
But we did.
Why
we had
can't we do
moral
this?
science, if you remember.
But even in moral science,
it taught me there's so much empathy being taught,
It was basically help the weak, help the poor, share your things.
Okay, so empathy was being taught.
Yeah.
And every single year, I won 2 prizes. One in art and one in moral science.
And both have served
and
you
mom,
well.
my mom, she said, these are not any subjects that you should win prizes in. When you win something more meaningful, I'll come. And then many years later, I told her, but this is what I'm doing in life. I studied art.
Exactly.
And SFS is thanks to my moral science. So, it wasn't a waste of prize distribution.
No, of course not. And
Mommy was very proud of you, Gulshan. And I know she must be watching us talk like this. She must really feel very proud of you. Absolutely.
No, I know she was, because all the newspaper cutting. I did want validation from her. You know, I know it's wrong,
She wasn't a very vocal person. She didn't say it, but
she said it.
in gestures like this, keeping all your articles and talking to all the neighbors about it. She never told us anything, but she would definitely
Even
keep all
to
this.
I know she loves Zara unconditionally. I know there was immense love, but again, she couldn't show that, you know. And she did it by praying for 3 and 4 hours for Zara, you know, and for us. But,
Yeah.
you know,
She
that
kept
was
her in
her
her
way
prayers.
of
Exactly.
doing it.
Absolutely.
But she was not a very articulate person, so that is okay. And she didn't believe in showing all this kind of things. So this was a way of expressing it,
And
which is okay. I mean, many people have different ways of expressing
And Roxanne, I
things.
made you do some crazy stuff, I know. Because you said to me, Gul, I'll do anything for you. You just have to say it. And then someone came and said, you know, there's a seance meeting where you can talk to the spirits
Even
of
I
the
had
other
gone in that.
side.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was afraid, so she dragged you. And
Twice I'd
sorry
gone for that.
for
I know.
making go through all that.
No, that's
I
perfectly
just,
all right.
you know, at that time, I would tell you, Gulshan, I know what you're going through. And of course, I did not, you know, because I had a child who wasn't having any problem like seizures and all. I couldn't really understand, but I had decided that no matter what Gulshan would ask me to do, I would do it. Whether I found it stupid or I found it silly or whatever, but if she wanted and if it brought her some peace and
yeah.
it brought her some calm,
And who
I
knows,
was
it
willing
might
to do
help.
it.
And it's not only for Gulshan, it's for Zara as well.
Yeah.
If it does help her, why not?
So
But,
we
yeah.
were trying out. It's all in the book. Why me? Why not me? Thank God me. It's written by you know, our nephew Kurush, and it's all there in the book. I don't think you've read
Yeah.
it.
I've not read it yet.
And just to add one more thing, you know, I mean, our definition of normal, I mean, we think, okay, you know, children or people like this are not normal, you know. But then you have children who give different kinds of trouble to their parents, you know. So what do you do
I
about
think
that?
honestly that's harder.
So,
You know, when you have drug abuse,
Absolutely.
when you have
Yeah.
criminal things.
yeah, or any
That-
such thing,
Of
you know,
course.
or, you know, they don't look after their parents or they break ties or whatever.
Absolutely.
All kinds of issues, you know. So at least these people, they are with you, and they love you, and they have no complaints, no nothing.
Yeah.
You just have to be with them, you know, and that's about it, you know. And make sure that there is enough stimuli. Nowadays, of course, the things are so much better. I know even in Aura Support we have, there's so much, you know, there's so much things which we do, you know, with these kind of beneficiaries, do these kind of people, we make them do all this, you know. During Diwali time, they make diyas. Constantly, they're making envelopes. We are in a hospital campus, so they make bandages and all that. So they're constantly engaged. They're involved, you know.
And the best thing is that they have fun together.
And they have fun together, you know, which staying at home alone, you know, possibly pushed away into a room, you know, and with just one maid servant
Or TV.
or a TV or something, if at all they want to watch it. So I don't think that's correct, you know. So this is better in my view.
Yeah.
And it is. There's no question of that, you know. So
See, even for me, I don't have this fear.
yeah.
I can die tomorrow, Zahir can die. And we have a place for Zara. You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
You know, Aura Support is honestly the happiest place you can be in Mumbai.
Yeah.
You just go there. You could be feeling low and down and all. You just go there. They'll all come running to you. They'll hug you. And, you know, I mean, you could have just met them yesterday, but they make it seem like you've come back after 10 years. That kind of love and affection you get. You put on the music, you start dancing with them, and all your
And there
worries
really
and
is-
all just
exactly.
melt away.
There's so much positive
It's
energy
just-
emanating from them, not from us.
And
from
it's
them.
just pure joy, pure love. I feel if anyone wants to, you know, forget their worries and their problems, this is the place they should go to. Get a hug from a person with Down syndrome or someone with whatever, you know,
disability they have.
disability they have there, but it is just amazing to be around them. The love you feel and the warmth you feel, you will not get that even from your own children. Honestly.
You know, once you said to me very early on when I used to be a volunteer in the school for special needs, at that time Zara was going to the school, and then we decided that, you know, the seizures was just increasing. There was no point picking her up, dragging her. Nothing was happening. And we could have given her those therapies at home, which we did with Saif Bijriwala, who was like a god to us in our lives. And, you know, you said to me, and then I continued going as a volunteer. And you said, but Gul, doesn't Zara need you? You know, you're going giving all your time and attention there. But it was for the same reasons. Because when I went there, this is what I got. So I came back a much better, stronger, because of those positive vibes that I got, and that gave me the strength, you know, to be with them. And
Correct.
okay, I couldn't explain it to you at that time,
I totally understand it.
you know, but I needed those few hours away from her so I could and they would a lot of my friends also said, but it seems like you're running away, but you're going through the same place. I said, no, but I get so much there. And I come back a better mother with more energy, wanting to do things because I've had so much fun, which I wouldn't have had just sitting with her, you know. So, yeah, that now I can say it to you.
I know. That's the thing. I mean, all of us were, you know, we can do better when we know better. And we really didn't know at that time
I agree.
how to handle the situation, what was the right path, what was wrong. We all were kind of, you know, really floundering.
And I know I have been, I would take out a lot on the closest people. Zahir, Jinai, you have been my brunt of or my punching bag. Sorry. But I was angry.
I know.
I still sometimes do get angry, like, why is, you know, what can I do? It's such a helpless feeling, you know, that she's having a seizure. And people ask me very often, but you know the trigger? So I said, if I knew the trigger, I would have been able to stop it. But even then, I can't stop it. Even if I know that this is what's triggering her seizure, I still can't stop it. Even while the seizure is going, all I have to do is just watch her.
Nothing.
You know, so that helplessness is really hard. Many times when she's having a seizure in the afternoon, and I'm sitting in the living room, and Saraswati, our nanny, will come and say, Zara's having a seizure. Of course, I can run in and go immediately, but I don't want to. I don't want to see it. You know, it's so hard. And I will ask Saraswati, is it finished? Not that I'm neglecting, but there's nothing
Of
I can
course,
do.
As a mother, what you must be going through, only you understand.
It's helplessness.
But even for me too, sometimes, you know, like I'm really excited about, you know, Alisha and Zara because they're the same age, to give you the news about Alisha, or this has happened with Alisha. And then I think, no. You know, I mean, for Gulshan, she's going to think they're the exact same age, and, you know, Zara could be doing the exact same thing that Alisha has achieved. And, you know, I really hold back because it really pains me. So I know
Initially,
it really does.
Initially, yes, it pained me like, oh my God. You know, many times because Ali's birthday is in Jan, we would be there for New Year's, and, you know, we'd stay on for her birthday. And then we share the Parsi birthday. And, oh God, it was hard. It was really, really hard for me to see, oh, Zara would be like doing these things. Initially, it killed me. Attending Alisha's Navjot for me, her thread ceremony where we, you know, do it for our religion, and we, oh my God, that Navjot was really hard. I mean, I had to, I don't know.
I feel the same thing. I just sometimes
But
back.
then
I
it
feel-
went away, you know.
I know, but
because-
it's still, I just feel like, how can I? If I tell Gulshan about this, I mean, you are a mother, obviously, your first thought is going to be, oh, Zara could have been doing the same thing. She would have been also going off on a vacation with all her friends.
So, you know, Jinai,
And-
Zahir and I, we have these discussions so many times. I say, you know what? Zara would have come with her boyfriend. In Saraswati, you know, she said, Zara ka bhi aisa boyfriend hota. Acha hai wo boyfriend. You know? And, but now I don't have that feeling anymore. I just say, oh yeah, she would have. And you know who taught me who helped me overcome it was my friend Komal's daughter Jas. So Jas used to hang out a lot with us and with Zara. And one day we had just gone shopping and I was picking up clothes for Zara and she said, "This is for Zara?" I said, "Yeah." And Jas and Zara
Same age.
And she said, "I would never wear this." And I said, "Oh, okay, so what would you wear?" And so she taught me that can you, just because it fits her, stop buying these baby clothes for her. You know, and stop doing her hair like this. Can you get her out of the fringe? Can you do this? Everything was taught to me by Jas.
And for the better.
And for the better. And then when Jas said, when I graduate, I want to walk down with Zara because it will be her graduation as well. You know, it touched me so much. Unfortunately, the graduation happened during COVID. So, yeah. But just the thought that she said that, you know. And
I
then
agree.
Vanessa, Zara's therapist, she insisted that Zara come for her wedding, which was in Sri Lanka, and she wanted Zara to be her flower girl. I said, she's not going to throw a single flower. She said, who cares? She's my flower girl. You know, so I have
I know,
overcome
you
that.
have lots of angels in your life.
These are very sweet sentiments.
That's-
But just to add to this, you know, what you're saying, awareness and all, awareness comes with all this, you know, what you're doing, the SFS, the Aura support, you know. We invite people, you know, and I'm sure you also do. Yesterday when you had the 25th silver anniversary celebration, there were so many people. Of course, they all knew, but there were so many other new people who
Yeah.
knew, who saw, you know. And it opens their eyes, you know, it makes them aware that these people also can be treated, you know, in a nice way, you know, and they are also normal. Okay, they're different, but they're not abnormal, they're normal, you know.
Yeah.
And we invite them, you know, and one of the best ways to get any sort of what we call CSR contributions, you know, corporate social responsibility or donations, if you want to call it, is to just invite them, let them see them, let them interact with them, let them, you know, really be there, let these people come and embrace them. It touches their heart, you know, and that is when you touch their heart, they loosen the purse string, and we need it, you know, the money is always welcome, you know. Everybody needs it, you know.
SFS has run without any funds, without any corpus, without
But
any trust.
I agree, but somewhere the funds comes either in terms of hardcore cash or money, you know, or in
There's-
terms of service, or in
there's
terms
zero
of
money being
contribution,
exchanged.
or volunteerism, whatever. It comes in several ways, no?
So for us, we just rely on the community. Yesterday, this person had come
But
for
only
the
when they see it,
Yeah.
only when they interact, then they know,
No,
you know.
he came and he said, it's my mother's 70th birthday and I want to do something. What can I do? I said, throw us a party. You know, we'll come. You just tell me your budget. And in that, I'll organize whether it will be a like snacky thing, if it's a less budget, or it will be a dinner. So it's up to you. What do you want to do? And we'll do it. Let your mom celebrate with us. And he said, oh, that's such a nice thing. Yeah, I'd love to do that. You know, and so that's how we just...
Exactly. So that awareness was created.
Yeah,
That's how it
yeah,
struck him,
yeah.
you know, that this should be done.
No, he knew about SFS, but he had never
Even, yeah,
experienced.
yeah.
When you experience it for the first time, and you experience so many people with disabilities and their families having fun, you know.
Exactly. No, and seeing the good which is being done, more than having fun, seeing the good, it is making a absolutely positive difference to their lives, you know. Like when we need a bus, when we need anything, you know, a refrigerator, a washing machine for our, you know, the custodial care home, we just have to ask.
But
know,
you
they
need
come.
one fridge and a one washing machine. I need
No, agreed.
15,
I agree.
50 wheelchairs, hearing aids for all of them.
Agreed.
You know,
They'll give it.
and so we make a wish list.
Absolutely.
We have companies. I tell them directly, this is a family that needs it. Please, this is where you can pick it up from. They go personally and they give
And
it.
they deliver
you know?
it.
So
No, the awareness you're creating, Gulshan, is amazing. Because otherwise,
No, otherwise
because
it's
people
outside
do
that thought
want
process.
to be generous. People do want
Yeah.
to do good things in life.
And
But they don't know how to
constantly,
go
when I
about
thank them for doing something, they say, "No, we're so grateful to you that you gave us an opportunity."
Exactly. Because again, they
You
were not aware.
take-
Now they are.
You take like Baman Irani, for example, coming yesterday. I mean, he came with absolutely no fuss, no frills, no nothing.
No expectations.
No
for himself.
expectation that he will be picked up and dropped and put up in the best hotel.
Paid this much. Nothing at all.
Completely on his own, he took the trouble to make this journey. And the joy he brought everyone. Oh my God.
And when I
It
thanked
was
him this morning,
amazing.
he said the joy it brought me. You
Yeah,
know,
of course.
He's such a wonderful man for doing
Truly.
something like that, honestly. I mean, before that, he had mentioned about how much he had traveled. He had gone to Canada and Goa and Delhi, and I don't know how many other cities he mentioned. And after all that full, tiring journey, he even made time to come for 2 days to Dubai. So, I mean, people like him, I'm sure, exist. They really are kind
there
and
are.
wonderful people. So, people hearing this, I hope more come forward
yeah.
and more want
If
to
you
do
have
things like this.
anything for charity, please, we are there. Put us on your radar. We accept the charity.
You know, charity word is like I'm giving you something.
Give
This
whatever
is
you
an
want. Give
enrichment experience for
whatever
you.
donation you want to give. We are there. We can accept, and we will show you the results of that.
And I just want to say that Karishma and Alisha, your two beautiful daughters, are not cousins to Zara. They're no different from Janai. I'm so grateful that the two of them look at Zara as their younger sister,
Absolutely.
And they love her. They've loved her unconditionally. And I think through Zara and Huttu that we have, so much empathy between all four girls, that and there is
Totally.
love.
No, I honestly think we all have become better human beings because we have a Zara and a Huttu in our lives. For
True.
sure.
So on that beautiful note,
No, I want to
Okay.
add one more thing.
okay.
So I'm glad I'm wearing my dark glasses so you don't see my tears coming down. But Gulshan, yesterday, I mean, just to see the love and admiration and the kind of, the way people adore you and the way you've touched their lives, I can't tell you what a proud sister I am.
Thank you, and I'm proud of you. And Behram, thank you for all that you do. If anybody needs anything in any hospital in Pune right now, you're there in Ruby Hall. I know how many lives you touch every single day, And during COVID, you went to hospital every day. You could have said,
That was my
listen,
job.
I'm not, no. You could have taken off. Many people did. But you were there every single day. And for that, we're really grateful.
No,
thank you. And thank
Always
you,
happy to
Roxanne.
help.
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
Definitely, this is
Love you.
and thank you for giving us this opportunity. Really,
Thank
pleasure
you.
being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.